covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we once again have two outstanding guests to talk about some important issues. First of all, we're going to get a feel for what's going on in Augusta, particularly in District 6, as we talk to the gentleman who represents that district on the Augusta-Richmond County Commission. Also, what about opportunities after incarceration? Should a conviction or time spent in jail mean the end of a career or the end of an opportunity to live a good life? No, says our second guest, and she is providing ways to help folks get and stay on the right path in life. And as always, we'll wrap up the Means Report with ways that you can stay in touch and help us get more great guests. Like our first guest, he is Commissioner Tony Lewis, representing District 6 on Augusta's commission. Commissioner Lewis, first of all, I'm sorry it took so long to get you on the Means Report, but thank you for saying yes.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, I appreciate it. And, you know, I was looking and I see that, as I suspected, you have not been on the commission that long. We're kind of in the middle of your second year now, give or take. How do you like it so far? Is it all you expected it would be?
I think it's more than I expected it to be, but pleasantly, it's been good.
Yeah.
First year was learning experience, into my second year now, and still somewhat learning, but you know, got a better grip on things now.
No, I get it. Okay, and so help me with this. When I picture your district, I think, oh, Commissioner Lewis represents South Augusta, you know, Tobacco Road, Mike Padgett, Finney. Is that true? Is that kind of the part of town that you serve?
Absolutely, yeah. It's absolutely. South Augusta comprises of mostly Tobacco Road, Windsor Spring Road, that particular corridor, Peach Orchard Road. And the unique thing about it is encompasses about four districts. Even District 5 is a part of South Augusta, but it's not a part of the super district, which is our super district commissioner is Wayne Guilfoyle.
Yeah.
So that comprises of District 4, District 6, District 8, and again, District 10, which represented by Wayne Guilfoyle. So District 3 is also a part of the super district that Wayne Guilfoyle represents as well. But it's not in South Augusta, it's really in West Augusta.
What made you've always had a passion for public service. What lit that fire in you where you thought, I need to represent my community?
I tell you what, Brad, I, as a young lad, watched my father as a city councilman, one of the first black city councilmen in Augusta, Georgia, Grady Abrams. My dad served on the council and also was a candidate for mayor, actually ran for mayor. So I've always been in that particular arena. You know, graduate of Payne College, you know, have had some notions about, you know, being community involved. So it propelled me to run for office. And this wasn't my first time, actually.
Yeah.
This was my third time actually running for the seat.
I know, and congratulations, third time turned out to be the charm.
Thank you.
And you got to work immediately. I know there was a learning curve, as one would expect, where you sort of just have to sit and listen and figure out how the whole thing works. But now you're on the Administrative Services Committee, the Engineering Services Committee. Quickly, let's just kind of get a feel for what you do in that regard. What's administrative services?
Pretty much administrative services, we deal with things like, we have a housing community development department, when contracts are being done, and our director, Mr. Hawthorne Welcher, brings any proposals through the commission. It comes through the Administrative Services Committee, and we look over those things, all items that are brought that deals with the city administratively wide. It comes through us, be it compliance, procurement, things of that nature. It usually comes through administrative services.
And then do you take those, you consider them, and then you recommend to the full commission what you think they should approve?
Absolutely. During our committee cycle, which is held on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, unless we have 5 Tuesdays, then it's not held on that last Tuesday. But the committee, Administrative Service Committee, we receive our package, give us an opportunity to look over and explore the things, the list of items that are coming down. So we get to see these things before we actually sit down with our other committee members. And then we have an idea of what it is that we would like to discuss, what direction we would like to go with those. So once we get to committee, everybody's on board with what it is that will be discussed.
Gotcha.
And then we have an opportunity to vote it up or to vote it down on committee.
What about engineering services?
Engineering services, it comprises of a lot of, we deal with our roadways, we deal with environmental services,
Yep.
we deal with our infrastructure engineering. So it's a vast, and believe it or not, it's probably one of the biggest assets that we have. Now, the biggest department we have will probably be utilities, but when it comes down to engineering, because folks are always complaining about their roadways, they're complaining about their ditches and things of that nature. So that's where we come in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, does your phone ring off
Oh,
the
does
hook?
it?
And what's the number one complaint? My guess was going to be potholes.
Yeah, well, my number one complaint in engineering is drainage.
Oh, okay.
And so we have so many of those throughout the city. And with the help of RCCI, the inmate that's on Tobacco Road, they do a lot of the cleanup in the ditches, the retention ponds and things of that nature. But most of my calls are always geared toward when can we get it? Commissioner, my ditch hasn't been cleaned in 3 years. Last time they cleaned it. And I go by and I look at, in my district, I ride through. When I get a phone call, I immediately respond. And we try to make things happen. They say stuff like, I've called 311 several times. And, sometimes it takes us to make things happen because there's so much to do and everybody wants their stuff done then. So we try to speed up the process a little bit.
Commissioner Lewis, what do you want to do to improve District 6? Is it projects like the one you just mentioned where you're making drainage better throughout your district, or is it a big restaurant or store coming?
I'm glad you asked, Brad. Listen, infrastructure is the top of Augusta's agenda. We have aging infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't get enough money. It's budgetary time. We're having budget workshops now, and we're going through the process of declaring a budget. And I would like to say that our interim administrator, when I came on board, the budget had already previously been set the year before, so quite naturally that had been done. So I've sat through a budget, and our budget we're operating on now is the budget that I voted on for this term since I've been a commissioner. And I would like to say that our interim director has done, administrator, has done a phenomenal job with our budget, over $1 billion budget in Augusta, Georgia. And sometimes that's still not enough because there's so much that folks want done. And we try to do it without having to have the effect upon the constituents or the homeowners.
Right, we don't want taxes to go up.
Don't want to raise taxes, absolutely. Everybody wants services, but we don't want the taxes to roll up. So Brad, it's a tug of war sometimes.
Interim Administrator Takia Dowse sat in this chair on the Means Report just a few short weeks ago. I suspect you would like to see that interim title go away.
I would, Brad. I really would. I think it's deserving. She's been in that position for a little over probably about 3 years.
It's pushing 3 years.
It's pushing 3 years. And she does a phenomenal job. I can honestly say a woman with the background in finance and numbers and banking and things of that nature that she brings a lot of value to that office. And I would love for her to have an opportunity to remove the interim and to become our administrator.
All right, so you talk about the infrastructure, which I agree. It's such a top concern.
Yes.
So what about for areas outside of District 6, for Augusta as a whole, one or two things that you think of that you'd like to see happen or come to our town?
I think, Brett, let me piggyback on some of the other stuff in District 6 and South Augusta in particular.
Yeah.
Restaurants. We got to have the infrastructure. I'd like to see more economic development, more retail development in South Augusta. We realize that we've got to have rooftops in order for investors and restaurateurs to bring their businesses to South Augusta, South Richmond County. And I think we're in a pivotal point right now. We're seeing the rooftops, and all we've got to do now is court the restaurants. I think that there's enough There's enough viability in South Richmond County to support any restaurateur that desires to come to South Richmond County, because what we're doing is we're going to Washington Road, we're going to Robert C. Daniels Parkway. So instead of traveling those places, we can do it right within our own community and our neighborhood. So that's my number one focus. We've got to get some restaurants. Now, other things that I would like to see is more entertainment. I'm proud of what our Coliseum Authority has done. We're getting ready to bulldoze the James Brown Arena and make way for a new arena. That went over without a hitch. I'm proud of the work that they're doing. There's some other things that we're proposing to bring to Augusta by way of entertainment, water park, zip line, things of those nature to attract people to come. Destination Augusta is what it's all about.
I love it. I love it. And I would love to see it happen. Anything to help our town improve and grow. I know the potential is there. Probably have about 45 seconds left. I knew this would fly by, and I'm so mad because it did, but we're covering a lot of ground. So lastly, let's just focus on Payne College, your alma mater. And I just wanted to ask you what your hopes and dreams are for the future of Payne. Are you optimistic?
I'm very optimistic. You know, Payne College is approaching 150 years soon. We'll be approaching 150 years. And when I went to Payne College in the late 70s and early 80s, graduated in 80, in 84, Brad, Payne was a thriving institution. Yeah. And to see it in the condition that it is now, it breaks my heart. But nevertheless, we're still doing everything we can to make it be the best institution that it can be. And it has the potential. I love the Home Depot promise that they did $150,000 to improve the school. They're doing a brick by brick foundation, $500, $300. You can buy a brick, have your name put on a brick. There's some other things that they're doing, but it's my desire that we will get back on the sack track and get off the track to get the college back to where it is so it can receive the funding that it so desperately needs. Well, we're on a big campaign for Payne College. I love Payne College.
It is a key part of this community. It's a key part of the country as far as its significance. And so I hope all of those good things happen. And I thank you for your hard work, not only on behalf of your college, but your community. Thank you, Tony Lewis.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brad, for having me.
Absolutely. Augusta Richmond County Commissioner Tony Lewis, our special guest today. When we come back, let's talk about life after incarceration or a conviction. How can you get on the right path? We have a lady who is working hard to make that happen on the Means Report.